Hey folks, Ken McArthur here, best-selling author of Impact, How to Get Noticed, Motivate Millions, and Make a Difference in a Noisy World. And we're doing the Impact Master Panel today with our panelists, Larry Steinhouse of Investor Schooling, and Tbone Jones, and Frank Garon from Conversion Chemistry, heading up the panel today. And our special guest today is Anton Kukal. If you watch the Impact Factor movie, you know that he is a bona fide star, and he had a very, very important role of Lloyd Benson in the Impact Factor movie, but that's not what he's talking about today. He's putting himself on the hot seat, and things are going to be a little bit warm around here today. Let's get our panelists to just introduce themselves and give a little bit of background, and let's start with Dan Tbone Jones.
That's it. Dan Jones. I'm the entrepreneur solutionist, digital marketer. I like to make entrepreneurs a lot of money while making myself a lot of money. And I've made a lot of mistakes in the past. And I've learned to identify those mistakes and help other entrepreneurs not fall into those fatal errors and grow and succeed.
All right. I'm Frank Garon.
Frank Garon here, formerly bankrupt tractor-trailer driver from New Jersey who went on to make over six figures a year online. I've been doing this full-time for 26 years now, and I am Dan's partner in conversionchemistry.com.
Awesome. And finally, but certainly not last, Larry Steinhouse.
That's me. So what do? I teach people how to make money, of course. I'm an excellent business coach. I'm an excellent financial coach. And more importantly, I just like to help people. So we're gonna help Anton today, right?
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
So here's the format today. Our hot seats are generally designed for people to talk about their projects, whatever you got going on, whatever great ideas you have, whether it's an established business or just an idea in the back of your head. If you want to be on the hot seat for the Impact Master Panel, just reach out to any one of our panelists or to me personally and let us know what your project is and what questions you'd like to have answered. So usually that takes the form of a one sheet, so a couple of paragraphs about your project and then the questions that you'd like to answer. Just send that to any of us and we'll line you up. I think we've got a couple of open slots coming up soon. So it's Mondays at 11:30 every single week. And if you want to get on the hot seat, do that now. Now, Anton, as I mentioned, is a wonderful actor, but he's also got a business project that he'd like to talk to us about today. And we're going to put it on the hot seat. Now, Anton will have about 5 to 10 minutes max if we don't cut him off before then. And make sure that you get your questions out because this panel can go on for years, days, weeks, months, centuries with all kinds of advice that you never wanted to have if you don't direct us and let us know exactly what you'd like us to answer. So tell us a little bit about your project, Anton. I'm excited to hear about what you're doing and how we can help you out.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Ken and Larry and the rest of the panelists for having me on the show. I've known Ken for a number of years. I worked with him on the Impact Factor movie, and the message he sends out to people about how everyone's actions can impact other people, it really resonated with me deeply. And I've met Larry on a number of occasions, and he's always full of great information and amazing financial advice. So I really appreciate you're taking the time, all of the panelists and Larry and Ken for taking the time to meet with me today and bring me on their show.
Great to have you here.
Cool.
All right, now you lost 1 minute praising us.
Go for it, Anton. Tell us about your project.
We've got 58 more to go. So my name is Anton Kukal, as was said. I'm an author and an actor, and I run a theater company called Mystic Realms. It has a tagline of Worlds of Adventure. And I am looking to get some business advice on how to make the company more financially stable in these post-COVID times. I'm also looking to expand our program by creating additional theatric groups doing what we're doing here in New Jersey, in other places, perhaps across the United States and other states and such as that. I guess I want to try to upscale this program.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about the program that as it is right now.
Okay, sure. The program, as it is right now, is a theatrical company that I started in 1997 because I saw a way to help young people develop theatric talents kind of in a way that teach real world life skills. Now, this program uses a type of acting called improvisational acting to help participants develop a self-confidence, leadership ability, and social awareness and organizational skills. Basically, it's taking young people and giving them an opportunity to excel in these social environments in a safe and comfortable community where they can experiment with things to become a better person, to become more confident in themselves.
What's the age group that you're attracting? What's your audience right now?
Our main age group is probably the end of high school to college age. Sometimes we get people who are older than college age. And we do have members who bring their kids and participate in the program. I think our oldest person ever coming was 74 years old. So yeah.
So Anton, I am so confused. Is anybody else as confused as I am? Or is it just because I'm pushing buttons directing this thing?
I am only because I checked out Mystic Realms on Facebook and the website, and it looked to me like a LARP community, and nothing really came through of what Anton just said.
Yeah, I mean,
which is that it's like a development program.
Mystic Realms. Let's start with the name. Mystic Realms. What's the first thing you guys think it is?
I think it's like medieval times.
I think it's a video game.
Okay.
Right? I mean, that's fine. I agree with you, Mystic Realms, right? But it's not. It's nothing. I mean, what really? Mystic Realms.
Got nothing to do.
What were you
with
like dreaming one night and you had a nightmare that you wanted to think of the worst possible name you could call a company and you called it Mystic Realms? Why don't you sell the website to somebody with a game name?
Interesting. I appreciate that piece of advice, but Mystic Realms captures all of the different settings that the game I guess you can call it a LARP if you like to. I think that oversimplifies our goals. Improvisational acting is proven to generalize through to the skills you learn while LARPing can generalize through to real life situations. But Mystic Realms captures all of the different settings that these theatric events can take place in. So by having Mystic Realms Worlds of Adventure, we can then launch into the fact
Mystic Worlds Worlds of Adventure. That's a game. That's an absolute video game.
That's what it
So,
sounds like. to
what
me,
are some of
too.
the characters in your video game?
Yeah.
All right, that's a
I
major
think
problem.
you guys might be looking at it from the wrong way because people buy video games. People
you love
want
that?
to
So this is a big
people
problem, Anton.
participate.
I'm going to tell you a major problem, right? So the funny thing that you just said was great. You said we might be looking at it the wrong way, but there's no possibility that you're looking at it the wrong way, right?
Oh, I came here to see if I am, but all right, let's beat up on the name, I guess.
Well,
Now,
we got
here-
to start there.
here-
There's so much more to start, but that's probably your biggest problem.
We just went out. We have no sound.
We have no sound where.
I don't hear it.
I
You
hear
cut
it.
out, and I don't hear.
I hear.
I,
You have no
I
sound at
hear,
all?
I hear everybody.
Can you hear us in the headphones? No.
No,
So
maybe
check
it's just my
your
headphones.
headphone jack.
Okay, sorry about that.
You unplugged your headphone jack.
No,
Is it
now I
better?
got it back.
Now you got it back. He unplugged his headphone jack.
No,
You
I turned down the volume
turned the volume. Okay, there you go. Okay.
with my knee, I
Oh,
guess.
there you go. Okay.
Sorry,
That's right.
sorry about the
Anton was
distraction.
so happy about that. He was like, "Oh, good, I'm off the hot seat for a minute."
I think what we have is we got a definition problem. So I was struggling a little bit too in terms of exactly what it is. It's a theatrical experience with improvisation. I have no idea what a LARP is. So that's I don't know how many people in the audience know what a LARP is. Maybe people in that realm that are doing something like that. So, and when you say theatrical company, I'm not sure, whether you're putting on plays or whether you're, doing experiences and stuff like that. So it's a really hard thing to get your idea, product, or service down into a little short description that really nails all of the things that are really important to you and the things that you want to convey. I think you need to go to the value thing. Now, I liked some of the values that you were bringing
Oh yeah.
to it. It's a really strong proposition. Obviously, parents are really eager to get their kids to have some of those things. We'd all like to have more of that in our life. But it's a definitional problem, I think, Anton, because they didn't understand the concept, and that means that in general, your public may not be understanding exactly what you're doing unless you can get that definition really, really, really tight. Any thoughts on that from the rest of the panel?
Well, I have a client who's works with children to gain confidence and skills and go forth in the world. And ironically enough, her website is Life Confidence for Kids. That
Yeah.
pretty much tells you what it is and what it does. And again, Anton, nobody's beating up on you here. This is tough love, but it's love.
I'm going to try to find some middle ground here, and that the name in and of itself isn't bad or needs to be changed, but the first impressions of it, there needs to be a tagline describing exactly what it does and what it is. Because again, I'm going to go back to just the first impression I saw is that it's a LARP troop or a game or whatever that, you know, I can join, or I can retain you to do an act at my event. Versus all of the other values that you had spoke of, they need to be distilled into that brand statement. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you help? And why they should join you.
This really needs to be value driven. In other words, what is the value that we get for attending your events or participating in the programs that you've got going? I still don't know what a LARP group is, so somebody tell me, because
I think the only person who can tell you is Anton, because that's the point. He's using words like Mystic Realm and
he
LARP.
didn't use that word. Dan used that word.
Yeah, I never expected to say the word LARP because I understand that most of this panel might not know what LARP is.
But neither do your customers.
I do appreciate that you all went to check out our website, but actually, I'm not really trying to build a LARP. I'm trying to build something, like I said in the beginning, and I'm here for that information. Now, Mystic Realms is a federally registered trademark, and I'm not in the position to change that right now. I'm more than willing to change a tagline, which can be easily replaced, and I understand the value of explaining to my customers exactly what they need to understand what services I'm offering and what products I'm offering.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that information.
So what's your funding situation now? You said you wanted to stabilize income, and so what's the situation right now? Where did most of the funds come from, and how are you building that revenue now?
Okay, Ken. Could we backtrack to actually what LARP is? Because I'd really like to explain that to the panel.
Please do.
Sure.
So what a LARP is people attend a theatric event. My company organizes these theatric events. The participants who come, they create and portray characters in a theme setting.
Yeah.
Now, everyone at these settings is both an actor and an audience member. The events occur in the weekend. They're approximately 40 hours long. During this time, the participants, they have to overcome hardships and resolve conflicts that their characters encounter when interacting with other characters and interacting with cast members that we provide to help develop the story. Now, what this does is it develops character-driven skills that translate into real life. These social problem solving translates to real world problem solving. The idea is that if you can be a hero in this imaginary LARP world, you can also be a hero in the real world. And they do. They really do.
Awesome.
And I can give some examples of that later on. If we want to move to how the club's finances work, we can definitely move into that right now.
Yeah, well, let me go back to the basics, which the basics are: what questions do you want answered? In other words, what questions do you have that we can help you with the most?
Okay. I would like to discuss how to make the club more financially stable in these post-COVID times. It's a new world now with COVID, and everything's getting tighter for people. They don't have as much leisure time, and they don't have enough excess cash to spend in entertainment. And I also, unfortunately, want to talk about expanding our program, unfortunately, because it's expanding our program in these troubling times. We want to go from a one club organization back into a multi-club organization, which we did have in early 2000s. But we've not been able to make that jump again. So I thought that maybe you could provide some advice on those issues.
So where were you getting your leads for this before, pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID, let's see. Pre-COVID is, and you're probably going to laugh on this, but we didn't have a lot of trouble getting leads before. We would hang up a few hand-drawn signs in comic book shops, game stores, and on college campuses. And honestly, people came in. I think it's not that way anymore. So we are looking for a way to leverage our advertising. I know that there's new social media opportunities and those other things out there. I understand landing pages, understand how they work, but we're having a trouble because we're in that situation now that we don't have sufficient cash on hand to move towards these new ways of advertising.
Anton, what did the people expect when they saw your handwritten advertisement? Why did they show up? What were they expecting?
I've been pondering that a lot. They'd see that and they'd see something like be a hero, interact in these worlds, create characters, safe environment, fun things to do. And most of the people going to these comic book stores and going to these game stores are familiar with the concept of live action role playing. And so they were easy to entice to come out and do this because they had a little bit of knowledge beforehand. We would also go to...
Hang on just one second. So, so it sounds like people were already familiar with exactly what the role-playing kinds of activities were, and they were looking for a fun experience. So this is all experience-based. And the first advice I give you is to go to where these people are. Sure. So the community is out there. The people that enjoy doing this or would like to do it, there are all kinds of ways that you can attract them into this. You can use video from your events to show exactly what's happening at the event and people having tons and tons of fun. There's all kinds of social media ways that you can tap in for, no little to no money. That you can attract this audience. But the key thing is to find out where these people are now. These people still exist, people that enjoy experiential things. I mean, we've got people breaking out of prison rooms or whatever, and we got all kinds of we've got those kinds of activities going on now. So people still love going out and doing interesting things, people that have daring ideas. And they're gathered around somebody. Are there Facebook groups that are targeted to this topic? Are you members of those groups? Have you talked about what you're doing within the groups? Those kinds of things.
Sure, we've talked about all those things. We've talked about moving into social media. We've talked about targeting ads. We've talked about bringing people to landing pages to collect their emails and those kinds of things. But our difficulty is a catch-22 of getting the funds to do this.
Well,
and I was hoping to come on.
I didn't hear anything. Here's what I heard. I heard you talked about them all.
Right.
But it doesn't cost any money to join a Facebook group.
Well, create one. Is there a Mystic Realms Facebook group?
Oh, we have a Mystic Realms Facebook
group. How many people are in it?
Oh, probably about 700, maybe 1,000.
How often do you post?
Oh, probably 3-4 times a week, 5 times a week.
Are you getting interaction?
Not as much as we would like. I think that for us, most people are moving away from Facebook and they're moving to Discord. And a lot of the high school people don't use Facebook at all. A lot of the college kids don't really use Facebook. They're moving to platforms like Discord and Instagram a little bit.
So
and other platforms.
Have you installed Discord?
Oh, of course. We have a Discord group, and we try to move people from from Facebook to Discord. Now we always give out like our Facebook group and our Discord group because we go to conventions. I mean, I know you suggested to go to places where people gather, but I was just about to say how we do go to conventions. We go to Ren fairs. We actually run our own Ren fair in South Jersey called the Wheaton Arts Fantasy Festival. We do that every year. We get like maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people coming. It's a wonderful family experience. All of our performers, all the people who do this LARPing, they're practicing performance skills all year long. And so they bring them to the fantasy fair and they perform their roles at the fantasy fair.
So
They do
I'm still
stage
try-
performances.
I'm still struggling with what you do because it seems to change as you talk more and more. So you said you were helping people become heroes, or it's just, I mean, it almost sounds like it's what do they call it? You put on a costume?
Cosplay.
Cosplay. It almost sounds like cosplay. Is that what this is?
Well, cosplay is putting on a costume. What we do is having people put on a costume, and then we create a world. We have various. I mean, I can go over the whole program with you if you like, because I understand it does feel like we are jumping around, and I am
actually
sorry
think
about
it's a good
that.
idea. But let me ask you a question. What do you charge for this program?
We charge. Now, we had this conversation before, if you remember, and you beat me up on it. And I disagree with your advice. We charge
I don't remember
$60 for the weekend.
You charge how
We
much?
charge $6 a weekend. You said it was too low, and you're probably right. There are people who could pay more, but there are people who could pay less. And my goal is to create a safe environment that is open to everyone. So by bringing these people in at that fair price, they could experience this.
So how much?
And-
How many people show up? How many people do you get on an average weekend?
We get maybe 50 to 60 now.
You get
Hence the
50 to
problem.
60
Because,
paying $60?
yeah.
2,500, 3,000 in a weekend.
Wait, bring the mic closer.
2,500 to 3,000 in a weekend.
That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Do you
No.
do you poll these people to find out where they're coming from?
Oh, sure. I mean, we are a community. So once they join, if they stay, they end up becoming community. And we have pretty good retention on people when they come to experience our events.
But that's not what I'm asking. I know you're building community. That's wonderful. But where are the new people coming into the community? For instance, at investor schooling, anytime a student or prospective student comes to a class the first time, the first question is, how did you learn about us?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
You know why that question's important,
Yes,
right?
of course. Yeah.
It's-
And
so-
and we do that, but we honestly, I mean, yeah, we do that.
So
But
where are they
it's not
coming
like-
from? Where are they coming from now?
Well, let's look at this weekend. We ran an ad on Facebook, and we targeted D&D players. So I think we got 3 people from that, and they all came from that. We did a performance at a night market here in South Jersey. We were hired to play a bunch of fairies and other characters, like fae characters. We had wings on, we decorated, all lighted. We had people up on giant stilts, all walking around, and we brought this night market to life. And so we also had a booth that we set up there where we were recruiting performers, and we met someone there. So of the 4 new people we had, 1 came from one of our shows, and 3 came from a Facebook ad that we ran.
Then do more of that.
I'm confused. I'm still. He said 50 to 60 people show up. Now he said 4.
That was 4
No,
new
new people.
acquisitions.
4
That
new
was
people. So
You have
the 50 or
50.
60 people who show up every weekend, they pay you $60 every time they show up.
We run monthly actor training sessions, and so that's what we call our LARP events. There are ways to train our performers for our theatric events like the Fantasy Fair. We also do a huge Halloween show. We do a pirate festival in the summertime, and what we yeah. So we train
but wait,
performers.
once again, the question though was, every weekend, 50 people show up, and do all 50 people pay $60?
Yes.
And even if they
Well,
showed up
I'm
before,
sorry.
or-
Yes. It's
Okay.
just it's the $60 registration fee, but if they don't spend the whole weekend, they only pay for the amount of times that they can come. So we might have 50, 60 people there, but some of them might show up only for Saturday, so they end up paying less.
well, don't do that. That's a big mistake. It's 60. First of all, $60, and I'm going to say it again, is ridiculously low. But at least don't discount it. If the guy doesn't show up, What's the incentive to show up for the weekend if you're going to discount it anyway? Well, I'll just show up one day, so it'll be $30. That's a mistake. It's $60 no matter what. You know, they show up for 1 day, 2 days, or 2 days.
That's $100 right there easily.
Yeah, easily 100.
And maybe
right.
maybe 60 if you do a loss leader on Groupon or something.
Yeah.
That's why I would.
I don't even know if you could do Groupon with this. It's too difficult to explain it.
I appreciate your advice in this regard, but the other side of the coin is if you don't offer discounted memberships, discounted attendance fees, they might not come at all.
It's $60, Anton. It's $60.
Well, he's talking about of a certain age, high school and college. To some of them,
high school kids have their parents paying for it.
Yeah, I know.
For something like that, they're going to pay for that if they feel the experience is worth it. I mean, you're talking comparing to going to a football game, a baseball game, where you're spending hundreds of dollars for one night, versus even
a 40-hour weekend,
100 for a weekend. I think you're lowballing on that one for sure.
I think you get to 100.
I may be lowballing. I may be lowballing, but as I said, I've always wanted to keep this open for everyone. I came here today to upscale our business and to learn how to upscale it, because if we have 50 people paying $30 or $60, it's a break-even business. If we have 100 people paying the same amount of money, the club is easily able to afford extra money for costumes and all the other things that the club needs.
But if you charge $100, you don't need another person. You now have enough money to maybe spend on advertising to get another person in.
These events run better with more people. They're good at 50
that
people,
makes sense, sure.
run amazing at 100 people. And they're even more amazing with 200 people, because then you're actually showing up to a place that's a full community. We have beds and stuff for easily 200 people. We used to run with 200 people.
Anton, so just in your interest, I'm looking out for your interest here.
Thank you.
And I want you to get the input that you want. So are you comfortable with the amount of profit that you're getting now from the event?
No, because we're running a break even right now. We need to get numbers back up to 100 people, which will make us have stronger events and allow us to get everyone there.
So if you don't want to increase the price, which I think it is good, solid advice, try inching it up a little bit and see if you're losing people or not. I think it's good, solid advice because that'll make a huge difference in your bottom line. The easiest profits are always from within. What can you do to add on to this? How can I make it more beneficial to the people that already exist in the community? Because the real cost of expanding is in reaching out and getting new people. Those 4 people that you're adding every week, you want it to be 10 people that you're at. I mean, every time you want it to be 10 or 20 people that are added in. So if you're really resistant on the price increase and you're not willing to test it out to try and inch it up, or try adding other services and see what things you can add to this to make it more profitable. But you said that the real goal is to get 100 people in the room instead of the 40 to 50 people in the room. And I think the way that you do that is through other channels. In other words, I think you actively go out and you find the people that are in these communities right now. And I know you feel like you're thinking about it and you're talking about it and you're doing some Facebook advertising. In my experience, Facebook advertising for an event like this is probably not making money. Are you tracking your expenditures versus how much money you're making off of Facebook ads?
Yes, we're tracking that. We spent $50 in total last month on the ads, and like I said, we brought in 3 people. And I also
3 people from Facebook ads.
Yeah, from the Facebook ads that we ran targeting Dungeon and Dragon.
How much did you pay for the Facebook ad?
I think it was $1.25 per click or something.
And how many clicks did you have? I mean, what did it actually cost you? What was your physical cost?
I don't have those numbers in front of me.
You should. Because, if you brought in 3 people and you paid more than $180 for that ad, you lost money.
I thought
we didn't pay more than $180. I told you that we spent $50 total on the ads, and it was about $1.50 per click.
So,
and I'm just repeating back what the person who's doing our advertising is telling me.
In theory, he made money up front. I mean, ads paid
In
for
theory,
themselves. Yeah.
I told the person, it sounds like we made money.
Yeah.
Let's do another one, but let's try to get that landing page together so we can collect some email address. So all those people who click on our site, that we don't lose those email addresses, we don't lose that communication. So we have some way to retarget those people. That's what I told them.
Yeah, you definitely need that, because anybody that comes to the landing
Absolutely.
page and leaves, you know, maybe they need to see like an excerpt or a clip or something like that for them to get excited. Maybe they're not ready for it now and they bookmark it. But if you know, it's that old rule of 7. If you talk to them a few times, you're hitting them here, you're hitting them through a newsletter and Facebook, you're going to shake some more low-hanging fruit loose.
Right.
Yeah, and
Just
okay.
Just to circle back though about that pricing thing that was mentioned, we did raise our price fairly recently from 50 to 60, and it caused problems.
Really?
And that's why it's not like I'm just ignoring your advice. I mean, we did. Before COVID, it was $50 to attend the advice. When we came back from COVID, we said, listen, members, we've lost members because of COVID. You know, it's been a year and a half since we did this program. Let's raise our prices. And it was a problem.
Yeah.
Did you actually announce to the members that, you know, we lost money since COVID and we're now raising our prices? Or did you just raise the price and not say anything?
No, we told everybody. I mean, we didn't say it in that way, you know, like we didn't be like, oh my God, we're going to die. We got to raise our prices. You know, I think we did it in a tasteful, sensitive way to make people know that we are in trouble and that we want to bring the best product to them. And to do that, we're going to have to raise our prices.
So I'm struggling with why, and you know, everybody knows I'm an insensitive person. So
Listen to nobody disagree to that.
Yeah,
Continue.
Dead air.
So
He's
to
totally
me,
insensitive.
to me,
He can
it
throw
would have
out
just
the
been,
stuff.
hey, you know, this is the price is now $75, and I wouldn't have explained why. You know, I mean, I go into the supermarket and my bread was $4 2 years ago, and now it's $6. I don't need an explanation why.
Okay, let's focus in though on what I mean. He wants to go from 50 to 100. What are the ways that he can do that? Let's just reel out a bunch of ways that you can do it that are realistic and don't cost a lot of capital investment.
Well, supposing that those Facebook advertising numbers are accurate, I would scale that to start with. If you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
three,
sure,
three
absolutely.
true
Absolutely.
attributions, you basically got a 3-to-1 return on that. So if you quadruple that spend, you could theoretically get 12 new participants.
Now, and Anton, just to be really clear, you had 3 people that came in directly from those Facebook ads, or they heard you somewhere else and they knew you somewhere else, and it was just residual kind of stuff.
That's a very good point, Ken. Yes, at least one of those people we had a previous contact with in another place that we met them, and they had seen the ad and found that we were having an event and the location of the event, and then came.
Yeah. So
And I'm not sure about the other 2.
yeah.
But
So
that's okay.
Right, you
That's
still made
okay
money.
for
Yeah.
that's okay for visibility and for rebranding and,
Right.
and making the awareness and getting it up to the 7 counts and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to have realistic numbers, because it's the magic bullet if you are actually getting people into the room at a profit on Facebook ads, because all you have to do is up the spend on Facebook. You just keep doing it and you plug it in and it goes higher and higher and higher until you've reached all of the audience. But that's not, that magic bullet is also a false indicator so many times. In other words, they didn't really come from the Facebook ad.
Right.
They just happened to see you in 5,000 places and eventually they showed up. We see the same patterns here at Investor Schooling. When the people come in, maybe they got hit from a billboard, maybe they got hit from the radio station, maybe they got hit from social media, and eventually they came in. A live event is a really, really hard sell online. It takes a long time to build it up, and it's expensive to build it up. I mean, Larry could tell you how much money he's spent on billboards before anybody ever came in.
Yeah.
You know, so
Typically 3 months before you even expect a return.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I advertise on a radio station or I advertise on Facebook, I tell the guy, look, you got 3 months. And if I get 0 results in 3 months, that's what I'm expecting. It's the 4th, 5th, and 6th month that you're going to be graded on.
yeah. But if you are doing profitable Facebook advertising, scale it up. If you're not, you don't have to spend a cent to get online stuff. I mean, I would go into every one of the Discord groups. I go every one of the Facebook groups. Doesn't cost you anything. I'd tag on to significant YouTube videos. I'd be putting out YouTube videos of the experiences and developing your own trailers. I mean, you've got friends in the filmmaking community. You can find a videographer that can help you put some of that stuff together. Start doing some visual stuff that shows it off, and then get it out there. Double up on your university stuff. I mean, it costs gas to go to those places, but maybe you get a college student that can paper everywhere, or something like that. A high school student that can paper everywhere and share their experience. Maybe you can develop an affiliate program where you pay a bonus when people bring people in. Maybe kids would be incentivized by that kind of a program. Bring your friends. Bringing friends is a huge thing. The impact event and stuff like that, I really like to stress that you don't want to do these events alone. You want to bring somebody else. That doubles the people. If you had everybody that's coming to your events bring somebody else, you'd have your 100 people.
I have a personal question.
Those are excellent ideas, and those are all things that we've actually been doing. Maybe we've not been doing them well. We have a program where because we believe that word of mouth is the best way to get people into it. There are significant barriers to entry to coming to a LARP. We'll call it a LARP since you guys understand the term. There's significant barriers to entry. You've not only got to get a costume, you've not only got to learn kind of the basic rules of the world of how things interact, because there are rules to it. And I could go over them, but I don't know how productive it would be.
How much are these costumes that people pay for the costumes? How much?
They do not buy the costumes from us. We encourage them and to get good costumes, but as long as they're making an effort, we allow them to come. So costumes.
What does the average person pay?
I'm going to explain that to you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was that?
What does the average person pay for a costume?
They can pay $3.
Okay.
I was going to describe to you how they can go and they could cut a square piece of cloth and put a hole in the head, put it around their neck, and then belt it at their waist with a piece of rope, and that's called a tabard, and they could show up in that costume with a pair of sweatpants.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted
Not
to
many
make sure.
people
I wanted to
do
see
that.
what people were paying. So what is the so you're saying that most people have more elaborate costumes? Is that what you're saying?
Right, but we do have members who lend other people costuming. If they come to they'll come to our website, they come to our Discord group, they get to meet our concierge. Our concierge is the person who is new player trainer. Concierge and the team of members talk to these people and they see where their weaknesses are. If they need costume, they get their costumes. We have loaner weapons because we play with light contact weapons. We make a contact when we fight. It's like a real war. It's like really doing the action. It's not like Dungeons and Dragons where you roll dice. So we help these people get all these things together.
So it is cosplay. It is a game, which was weird. At the beginning, I didn't catch that. But okay. So
I always saw LARP as like actually doing the thing that you're cosplaying. You're actually you're interacting. Where cosplay is just show up to a convention dressed up as Darth Vader,
and you talk to each other and all.
And it's full immersion is what this experience is.
Yeah.
You know what? Dan would love that.
Am I going to go test it?
I actually knowing Dan, this is like Dan's idea of fun. So he should definitely be there. You should hook up for $60, Dan. You should go.
Oh, done. You can even charge me the price I'm suggesting just to prove that it does work.
Exactly.
There you go.
Wait a second.
At least it made you one customer.
But is this your primary source of income, Anton?
I'm a writer.
Okay, and
I'm glad you asked because I have some books here I'd like to plug. No, I'm just kidding.
You can do that at the end, but let's
I'm serious. Yes.
I got some books I want to plug too. I got money out there, right? But that's right. But
let's all plug our books. No, I'm a.
So you're making most of your money from writing then?
Yeah, I write novels and fiction and
That's
stuff.
cool.
Right.
That's
I used
cool.
to get,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean,
so this is a hobby. This business is a hobby.
It's a more
can't define it as a hobby because it's a corporation, and if I define it as a hobby, it would cause me trouble.
I don't care what the IRS calls it. I'm calling it what you're actually doing.
You can call it what you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about IRS classification. I'm talking about this is kind of fun for you, and you bring other people in, you have a bit of fun, and you're making a lot of money with it. So it's basically a hobby, and I think part of your frustration is you want to turn it into a real business, but you haven't.
I want to turn it into something that helps people, Larry. That's
Okay.
what I do.
Okay.
I've seen this program. I created it. I've worked it for 28 years or so. It's time that it grows. I have the time now, and I want to put the effort in to help other people's kids like it's helped my kids. I mean,
So
my kids went through the program. I have a daughter in a United States Service Academy. I have a son in an Ivy League school with a full scholarship. I'm not making stuff up. We've got kids that went to Princeton after Mr. Grounds and stuff. Other people's children. It's successful. It changes lives.
okay. So let's go back to what. So if somebody shows up for this for the first time, what should they
Sure.
expect?
They show up for the first time. They're met in the parking lot by our parking lot supervisor who guides them into a parking space, explains to them that they have to park with their front of the car facing out.
Okay,
in case there's a fire in the
what
can.
does the person expect when they sign up? Like, do I expect? I don't. I'm still struggling with this.
No,
I
they're
want to
brought
come for
from
the
there
first time. What do I
into
expect?
they're brought from there into the concierge. If the concierge has had a pre-contact with them, which is most beneficial, they have showed up in a costume with a character with a padded foam weapon so that we can run them through check-in rather quickly and then bring them to the inn, which is where the players gather for their adventures. If they haven't touched them previously, they have to go through new player training, borrow costumes, and borrow weapons to get to the inn.
So
Once
is it
they're in the
scripted
inn-
play or is it not scripted?
Let me go on. Once we get them to the inn, there is a game on speech, and at the game on speech, play on is called. From that moment on, everybody is completely in character. They have assumed the role in whatever setting we have. We have a number of different settings. We have a fantasy setting, we have a horror setting, a science fiction. We've got a bunch of settings, and they're all detailed worlds that are in source books that have been written that tell people about the characters and the type of play in that world. So to make their characters, they go to these source books to get the background information. So if they've done that, they're at the end, the game has been started. Now they're interacting as an actor. They're performing their character, the character they created.
All right. I mean,
Are you with me so far?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like fun. It really does.
It's
sounds like
absolutely fun.
Right.
Because they play cavaliers, they're all dressed in beautiful armor. They play wizards, they're dressed in flowing gowns. It's
Okay.
amazing.
Okay. By the way, Nathan online says if you have people who have done this and been through it, been successful through it, you can ask them to help promote it. And I actually agree with them. You should be doing videos of some of. You should be doing videos of some of these. You should also be doing video testimonials
Absolutely.
of some of these as well. So that's all good advice there.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about joint ventures, like with coffee shops, gaming places, and stuff like that? Have you done anything like cross promotion or not that
Sure, yeah.
sponsorships
Yeah.
and stuff like that?
We try to work with local game clubs. Some
Okay.
clubs are so local game stores. Some stores are receptive, some stores aren't. There's a lot less of them now after COVID, to be honest with you. There's only like 4 that I know of that have enough members to make those, reciprocal relationships worthwhile.
Gotcha. I was at a gaming store in Austin, Texas in October, and I was very impressed. It was like a whole new world. So I appreciate the feedback that you're giving us here because as somebody that's done community theater himself and has done improv as well, I can see some challenges you have because community theater as a whole, people are not getting rich doing it. It is a labor of love, and it sounds like a real passion to you.
Yeah.
And I hear that in your voice.
That's why I said it's a hobby. But you want to turn it into something more.
it's
It's
a
great,
passion.
but it sounds like a hobby.
Well, it's a hobby until it's not a hobby, isn't it? And that's why I'm here.
Right.
If I'm scaled up and I've got 50 clubs with 100 people in each of these clubs all across the United States, and it's all helping these people who really
That's a business.
sometimes
Right.
they
That's
fall
a
through
major
the
business.
cracks.
Yeah.
If you're a shy person who likes video games and likes fantasy stuff, and you're kind of alone in your room reading books and stuff like that because you like it, this is your place to go to meet people, to gain friends, to gain confidence.
Okay, here's the since you brought up the scaling issue in terms of taking it nationwide or anything like that, the key to any business taking it nationwide is to get one to work, right? And
Sure.
and if you aren't putting 100 people into your current event and you think that's the magic number, I'd say 150
Yeah.
people is the magic number because it's basically Dunbar's number. which says that all these people will be able to interact with each other and they'll get a great experience out of it. So you'll have a great experience if you have 150 people in the room. But the key to taking it national is to make one of these things work, make it really, really profitable, and then you can expand this idea all over the place. But
Right.
you've got to get to the 150 people before you can do that. We'll have you back on the show as soon as you get 150 people.
Yeah, of course.
We'll take you to the next level. So the key is, how do you get those people? I think you've gotten some really, really good advice from the team. You can utilize so much more video stuff than you're using now. You can utilize YouTube and all those things. They don't cost you any money. You can use the Discord. If you feel like your audience has all fled to Discord and they're more active in the Discord community, but measure that and see whether or not your people are actually active in the Facebook group or they're active in the Discord. And if they're not, find the groups that they are, because I guarantee there are groups. And this is a long educational process. If you want to make this a passion, and you're doing this for the big impact, you can look at turning it into a nonprofit organization or something like that, and building it out that way. But that's an entirely different model, and I think sponsorships are huge. If you have an active sponsorship program, you may be able to set up relationships with vendors where you'll let people set up vendor booths at your organizations, whether it's dressmakers or costume makers or weapons people. All of those people should have booths at your event, and you should be able to profit from that, either in the form of a sponsorship fee or a percentage of sales of those things, and that'll make you more profitable and give you the resources to expand things out, to be able to do some advertising
and keep those prices where he wants to keep them for the accessibility. If you get strategic sponsorships, that can subsidize the ticket prices.
Yeah.
I'm thinking board games and video games as well. Perhaps there's a sponsorship there. And then the nonprofit thing, I know you don't want to do that. The only thing I'll say is there's got to be grants
actually,
and stuff like
I want to
that.
interrupt you. We do. That is one of our intentions, to move towards like a nonprofit model for our different clubs. We think that would be something that would work well for what we want to do.
You've clearly set up a system. In other words, if you can, I mean, this is a lot of people jumping through a lot of hoops.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not just like you sell a ticket and you show up and that's it. So you've got a system down, and you've got people participating in it, because obviously it takes more than one person to run an event like this. And you've got systems set up. I'm going to encourage you, because I heard a million times today, I heard the COVID question. I want you to erase that from your vocabulary.
It's over.
It's over. As far as the public is concerned right now, they aren't making any decisions made off of COVID anymore. Now, the world may have changed. They may have maybe they didn't get used. They fell out of use of going out to live events. But I hear from my wife every week or so, there's nothing to do around here. I'm sure she wouldn't take this activity because she's just not the type of person to do it. But there are people out there that are looking for exciting things to do, and especially in the arts and theatrical kinds of things. And you tap into the people that are already into gaming. I think that was a huge point that
Absolutely.
Frank made for you, because people who are into gaming are into these kinds of things and want to take it to another level. I mean, and I just wander around Comic-Con or something like that every time there's one close by, and say, just talk to people. Just talk to people. What kind of
Get a
relationships?
booth at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
They're not that expensive. My son used to get a booth at Comic-Con all the time.
Right. We do. We have to pick and choose because of manpower issues. Which we don't have unlimited resources. We did a 10-pack sometimes. We do. When we have availability, we have our own acting things each month, which sometimes fall on those bigger events. It's all trade-offs. I came here today to try to get some wisdom from you all, and I do appreciate everything you've told me.
So I just want to clarify. This is every weekend you do this?
No.
We do our big acting event training session, our LARP, every month, once a month, and then we have smaller ones sometimes on the off weeks, in different worlds. Like we have a superhero setting and we have a post-apocalyptic setting, so we'll play those smaller games.
Here's a thought too. What about a subscription? Instead of them paying $60 every week, they pay whatever time they show up, they pay whatever $150 a month, and they could come to every event.
We did that for a phase. We tried that.
Didn't work.
And it's good in many ways, but it's also harder to try to track it and everything, and then people get upset if they can't make it, and so it was just a hassle.
So part of what I hear a lot from you this entire hour is you're projecting your thoughts on the average person. They can't afford it. They don't like subscription programs. They don't like increases in prices. That could be your biggest block. Your biggest block is you thinking what you're thinking. Stop thinking it. I actually, in investor school, I tell you something interesting. When we opened investor schooling, we had a price point, right? And within 3 months, we doubled the price point, right? Within 6 years, we tripled and quadrupled the price point. I'll tell you something that happened when we changed the price point. Now, I realize it's a different audience, but when we got to the price point that we're at now, we actually had less problems. We had more students, and we had more successful students. The price point that was really, really cheap, everyone complained. They complained about everything. Blah, 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 blah. And it was the weirdest thing. It was like now our price point hits the price point we're on, which is a lot of money. And they're like, oh, not only do they not complain, they want to know how they could do more and how they can help the school and how they can help people. So get this stuff out of your head. Stop projecting. The COVID stuff, stop it. It's done. No more. Facebook. People, your audience doesn't watch Facebook. Doesn't go. You just told me you got 3 leads out of Facebook, so clearly that's not a truth either. Start experimenting and start getting real data before you make decisions.
Dan, what do you think are some quick ideas just in terms of social media stuff?
Well, I just basically want to aggregate what everybody had already said, is start making those sizzle reels based on the content you already have, videos you already have, and doubling down on that. Now, when you talk about the Facebook ads, we also have to remember that Facebook ads display on Instagram. So, even if your quote-unquote users are above that age group where they're not using Facebook, they're probably likely watching those ads on Instagram, which is great. You want to keep leveraging that. And then back to the branding and positioning. Everything you've just said, I would want to see that on your Facebook page, your Facebook group. This is who we are, this is what we do, rather than it being kind of the obscure, ethereal, mystic realm that it is now.
Lots of tutorials, maybe. I mean, you're teaching people, you're doing an educational program to teach these people how to participate in these games, and you've got educational opportunities. I mean, whether it's just turning a iPhone on a session as somebody's teaching this stuff, or whatever it takes in terms of the shorts. It's getting really, really easy to produce that video content, and you don't have to have a fancy editor or anybody else to put the content up on social media. You just need to stick a camera in front of people and make
Let them be excited and do their thing.
I would even tell people when they show up, maybe at the beginning or maybe at the end, because I realize they're full characters, so they can't pull out their camera in character. Right. But before character or right after character, they pull out their phone and they have people in the background and they're talking about how much fun they had here. And say, hey, encourage people to do that, and then send you the video. And then maybe you say, hey, the one who has the best video gets a $100 gift card to whatever, whatever comic store you want to give it to. But this way you're going to get so much content. You're going to ask people to share it on their Facebook page. Do you have a Google page as well where you have reviews?
Yeah.
And how many reviews do you have on that?
I'm not sure right now.
Roughly.
I think we're hovering around like 15, 20, somewhere there. It's not a giant number.
So as people leave, especially if they show up for the first time, you grab them, pull them aside and say, hey, do me a favor. Can you take out your phone right now and leave us a Google review right now? I get Google reviews because I asked my students to give me Google reviews. That's how we got them. At first we had 10, and now we have over 200 because we asked students to do it.
helps in the search rankings
Yeah.
too. And the other thing is film the process of people going through this. You've obviously got a complicated process. Make people believe that they can actually get through this process. In other words,
Yeah.
that you make it easy for them. That you've got a concierge to help them get started, and you can help them so it doesn't have to be really, really expensive to do their costume, or whatever the objection points, you run into. You should make a list of every objection point and start meeting that in your social media content so that you can take these fears away. And
Yeah.
because it's a new experience, and diving in for the first time would be spooky for a lot of people.
So based on that, maybe we can backtrack a couple minutes, Anton. Did you say you're doing like smaller type workshops to onboard people and train them? Like, hey, here is how you become a swordsman. Here is how you become a mage, whatever. Like, is that an opportunity for, we talk about it being a safe space for new players who, I picture myself this way 25 years ago. I was a video game kid. I didn't want to go out and socialize. But, a smaller group during a weeknight, $20. Here, join these 10 other future superheroes. And then that's a way to kind of get that.
That's your incubator.
Yeah, good word, incubator.
Right.
Oh, that's exactly what we do. We have online meetings for new players where they meet experienced players who workshop with them, and they tell them what to expect. And if they're unsure, we invite them to some of the smaller games, and then they come to the larger games generally.
Well, it sounds like fun. We have about 4 minutes left, so I just want to give you an opportunity to tell everybody how they can become part of it, how they can interact, how they can sign up for it. Go ahead.
Sure. Just head on over to mysticrealms.com or go to the Facebook group Mystic Realms. We have a Facebook page, Mystic Realms, as well. And on there, you'll find the different links to reach the Discord communities and such.
All right, so that's
Awesome. And I want to congratulate you too. Anton, you've been doing this for a long time now, and sometimes it may feel like you aren't making that big of an impact because you got maybe less people coming to the events, or things need to be rejuvenated from time to time. As one of the old guys of internet marketing and creating impact, I can empathize because it's a constant struggle to make your audience be rejuvenated and to be attractive to new people as they come along. And you've done this for a long time. That means that you can do it over and over. And you said you've got more time available now. I encourage you to leverage what you do because it makes a difference. Just like you were talking, I've watched the meteoric climb of your children, and they're amazing. They're amazing people, and between you and your wife, you're doing a fantastic job with that. And I know you're having an impact on all these people that go through these programs. I just want you to be encouraged to go out there and make a difference every single day, and to use these leverage points. I try not to get in my way. As an old timer, my first reaction when anybody tells me I need to do something differently is, I've been through this before. I've done it before. This doesn't work anymore. This doesn't do, and so it's a negative kind of a place that I find myself in often. And when you open yourself up and say, well, maybe it didn't work last time. Maybe I didn't put the effort in or take the time to invest in doing something to test it all the way through. Make sure that you're testing things, because all of these opinions about what's going to work for you and stuff like that, that all fades in comparison to what is the test results of a tested program that's really fair and really tracks the actual results, like we were talking about with Facebook ads. Facebook ads is really bringing in 3 or 4 people every single time, and it's based on that ad spend that you're doing. That's a magic bullet. That's a powerful, powerful way for you to increase your people being active in the programs. And then go back and take a look at some of these things you've done. See what's produced a result before and see if you can scale it up, because it's exponential. I'd like to thank everybody on the master panel. I'd like to thank Anton for showing up today. Ken, Larry, Dan, Frank, you guys always give great input. I hope this has been impactful for anybody. And you folks, if you want to be on the hot seat, I know it's been pretty hot today, but if you want to do that, just reach out to any one of the 4 people that are on this show right now and let us know that you want to be on there. We've got some exciting ones coming up. I've seen some of the future ones, but we'll get you on the schedule. It's every Monday at 11:30. I've been really happy about doing this. I hope everybody else has, and I hope you're getting benefit out of listening to these stories. So everybody, any last words from the group?
I would say keep an open mind, because I was like, okay, this is cool, until he talked about post-apocalyptic. And I was like, I'm in, man.
All right, let's go for it. All right, that's fantastic, everybody. Come again next week, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care, Anton. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, Anton.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.